Hey Husky hockey fans, well, we've got another exciting weekend of NCHC action coming while 2 weeks in the regular season remain. Welcome to your Husky Hockey Weekend Preview. I'm your host, Nick Spiliopoulos. Taking a look at the last series against the North Dakota Fighting Hawks, down one in the third period, it would be Jack Poehling getting the game-tying goal, and that game would eventually end in a 3-3 tie. But in the NCHC, they go to a shootout, and Brett Larson called the name of Easton Brodzinski, and he put it past Peter Tomey. David Hrenak would answer, shutting down North Dakota's leading point scorer, Jordan Kawaguchi. So the Huskies get the extra point in the NCHC. And on Saturday, tied 1-1 in the third period, it would be Jack Poehling again getting the game-winning goal, and the Huskies knock off the #1 team in the nation with a final score of 2-1. In lieu of David Hrenak's strong performance against the #1 team in the nation, he stopped 61 shots of the 65 that he faced against the Fighting Hawks, and that has earned Hrenak the NCHC Goaltender of the Week, the second time this season he has earned that honor. Taking a look at your NCHC standings, North Dakota on top unscathed, even though they only gathered one of the 6 possible points last weekend against the Huskies. And your St. Cloud State University Huskies coming in at 5th, just 4 points behind the Denver Pioneers. And since we're getting so close to the postseason, let's take a look at the NCHC first round playoff bracket if the season ended today. St. Cloud State would be heading on the road as the 5th seed to take on the Denver Pioneers, but with this weekend, things could change as 6 more points are up for play. If you do the math, the Huskies can get into that 4th spot after this weekend. As we take a look at your series setup for this weekend as the Huskies take on the Pioneers, St. Cloud State has been red hot as of late, going undefeated in their last 6 games, and that hasn't been the case for the Denver Pioneers. They are 2-4-0 in their last 6 games, each team being led by Easton Brodzinski for the Huskies with 25 total points on the season. And for the Pioneers, it's been Emilio Pettersson. He's got 31 to his name. Here's what Brett Larson has to say about the importance of this weekend against Denver.
Basically, right now what we're doing is the only thing we can do is focus on the weekend in front of us. Okay, so the Monday morning meeting was, hey, great job, but that's done. We're talking about Denver now because our goal each weekend is to do enough to make the next one even bigger. And without any points against North Dakota last weekend, this weekend probably isn't quite as big because we're probably too far behind Denver. We put ourselves in a position to chase them now. We need to now have a good weekend this weekend and make the next one even bigger. And so it's really a 1 weekend at a time focus. We're not thinking about anything else. We're not thinking about standings. We're not thinking about how fun it was last weekend against North Dakota to be in a battle like that with them. All we're thinking about is being ready at 7:37 when the puck drops on Friday night against Denver.
Now joining me from the rink live is Nik and Mick. It's always a great time to have you here, but as we look at this weekend and the NCHC standings, how much postseason implications are on the line against Denver this weekend?
Well, it doesn't get much bigger than you got the team above you. You're only 4 points behind them. There's 6 points, that are at stake here this weekend. So this is a huge weekend for St. Cloud State. I mean, they have to try and find a way to carry the momentum out of a massive weekend against North Dakota, picking up 5 points in that series, carrying that over against a Denver team that gave them a lot of trouble earlier this season. They got swept at Denver earlier this season. Though both of those games, they were within 1 goal in the third period. So, I mean, we'll see if the home ice advantage kind of comes into play for St. Cloud State.
When you talk about how well the Huskies play in this building, but what about David Hrenak? How important is he going to be this weekend?
Well, he's going to be huge. I mean, if they're going to have a chance to maybe make up some ground here, David's got to come up big. This is one of the top scoring teams in the country. They do a little bit of everything well. They're about 24% on the power play. David's going to have to be their best penalty killer if they're going to have a chance against Denver. St. Cloud State also wants to give themselves a chance by, again, having some leads. Denver, as good as they are, they're only 8-8 when the other team scores the first goal of the game. So St. Cloud State wants to get on the board early and give themselves a chance.
Well, now it's time for Mick and Nick's picks, and not much happened last weekend for either of us. We both went over. So, Mick, who are you taking this week?
I'm going to take Easton Brodzinski. I thought Easton struggled a little bit last weekend against North Dakota. This is a big series for St. Cloud State. He's their leading goal scorer. They're going to need something out of him this weekend if they're going to give themselves a chance.
I'm going to go with the senior alternate captain, Jack Poehling from Lakeville. He had 2 goals on Friday night against the Fighting Hawks, and I think that he continues his strong streak this weekend against the Denver Pioneers. Your St. Cloud State University Huskies will look to do battle against the Denver Pioneers, the 4th and 5th place teams in the NCHC, going at it this weekend at the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center. If you can't make it down to the Herb, that's all right. Friday night's game will be broadcast on CBS Sports Network starting at 7:30, and you can catch Husky Productions crew at it on Saturday on Fox Sports North Plus, with that game starting at 6 o'clock. For Mick Hatton, I'm Nick Spiliopoulos. Go Huskies.
Legends rise.